Hello, folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Friday, December 17th, and congratulations for making it through another turbulent week in the markets. But today is looking like, there may be a little bit of blood in the streets. Traditional equities pulling back a bit here. Bitcoin coming down below that 47.5 critical level. So we got some important stuff to look at here before we enter the weekend. Before we dive into things, Doc, OMG, CJ, how are you gentlemen doing today?
I'm doing well. Getting my butt kicked in a lot of positions, but thank God, as I told these guys, thank God for my Rivian puts. We saw a really big buildup of puts in that electric vehicle manufacturer, and that's certainly offsetting some of the pain elsewhere in the portfolio, guys. Don't have nearly enough protection, and I think that's part of the problem. What is it? 70 million option contracts expiring today. And that's a big number. Supposedly it's the biggest of all time. And just like happens with the crypto fear and greed and so forth, I think the people have sold too many puts. On the dips, they sell puts. And now those puts are growing up to be big, bad operators, and the people are being forced to buy them in. So in other words, if you sold a put thinking you could walk away, a lot of people like selling the weekly puts. And in particular, this is a regular, a triple witch or a quad witch, because we've got the Merck products expiring, Board of Trade, CBOE, all stocks, futures, index, and options all expiring. And you might have sold something earlier in the, last week when we were having that big rally. Maybe you sold some out of the money Q puts or S&P 500 puts or Bitcoin puts. And that 70 million number doesn't take into account the Bitcoin options. That's the options that we track through the Options Clearing Corp. But that's a big number. And if you sold them for 70 cents a week ago and you're buying them back for $7 today or more, you're not a happy camper. I'm not that guy, but I know that's what's hurting a lot of people today.
Yeah, absolutely, John. And, a lot of people have been kind of banking on having this Santa rally here in December. Seems like that's not really, happening so far. I think you're right that a lot of these, options expirations have been putting a hindrance on that. What about for next week? What do you think the odds are of some positive price action, perhaps a rally into Christmas, or do you think, perhaps we see a continuation of this weakness into year end?
Monty, my buddy Josh Brown, when the information came out Wednesday that the Fed was going to double up on their taper, and you guys all know what that means, but that means, the Fed's been buying bonds. So that's not increasing interest rates, but by buying bonds, they're forcing everybody else who buys bonds to pay a higher price, and thus the yield is down. Price is up for bonds, that means yield's down. So that's how the Fed's been accomplishing it. And the fact that they're going to double up on the pace. Earlier in the year, I had said when we get to the taper, it won't matter as much. But back then, I didn't think we'd see a double up on the taper. In other words, we thought it'd be somewhere between 12 and 20 billion a month that they'd back off on their purchases. They're still buying, but that they'd back off by that much. And instead, they're going to push it and push it hard to double that. And that's why I think Josh is wrong. When he saw that thing Wednesday, he said something like, well, I told you when the taper came, it wouldn't be anything to fear or whatever. And I was thinking, dude, you didn't, listen to what I was saying. I said the market will be fine with 12 or 15 or 18 billion. That's what we were expecting. But then when he says he's going to double up, so I saw somebody tweeted back out to Josh the day after he said that. This didn't age well because, of course, Wednesday we were rallying and everybody was saying, oh, God, this is great. Yesterday, the Bank of England increased rates and the market was rallying, saying, this is great. Means the economy is really strong. And then everybody kind of said, I mean, my God, Apple touched 3 trillion and then whack, all the way from 181 and change to 170, if it's even holding 170 today. I hope it is. Let me give you a quick look at them. Just let me calm my nerves by pulling that up. AAPL. Yeah, it's holding 170 at least. So we got that. But I better let CJ talk for a minute before I share any screens.
No, that was good stuff. Thank you for that, John. But yes, CJ, would love to get your take on, the crypto market as well, because we're definitely seeing some of that weakness bleed over into Bitcoin. Yesterday, we were kind of flirting with that 47.5K support level, but today we're breaking down below it. What are you seeing in the Bitcoin markets here?
Yeah, I'll share my screen right here. Yeah, so just starting off with the S&P, it's that classic chart that Brian McCormick always loves to share on the cocktail hour. And when you look at that extension line on the S&P, you can see it has flipped from tentative support to now some resistance after that previous lower high. So definitely concerning some traders out there. But if we go to Bitcoin, we are losing that, or I guess we should say we've lost that critical level, namely from support at about 46K for the time being. Of course, our daily candle has not closed yet, so there is potential for a buy the dip type rally during the Asian session later tonight for us here in Chicago. So we'll see how that one does play out. But we'll go more in depth into our analysis on our members only Doge of the day after this. If you want to try that, you can visit marketrebellion.com/try crypto and get the first week for just $7. But I do want to move on to a piece of news in the crypto space. Any of the individuals who were around from 2016, 2017, 2018, that era of crypto, Justin Sun was very prominent. I mean, he was probably one of the best marketers in Twitter and on crypto at that particular point in time. I wouldn't say he was up there with Vitalik, but he was definitely one of the boy geniuses that was really, doing well for the crypto market with Tron back in those days. And it was one of the top performing altcoins back in 2017, 2018, and even had a nice run, earlier in May last year when we had a lot of cryptos taking off. But now Justin is stepping down from Tron to focus on being an ambassador of the Grenada government to the World Trade Organization. He has seen the success of Latin American countries like El Salvador embracing blockchain technology and Bitcoin, and so he wants to accelerate that development in Latin countries. So what does this mean for Tron? I can't imagine it's great. Like I said, he was one of the great marketers of the crypto space and really did a lot for Tron. But as you can see, we're now down 7% today on the TRX charts. While the collective market is down, I can't imagine this sits too well with Tron holders, especially going back to, the the fact that we never really did make a higher high after the 2017 bull market. But really interesting news, definitely worth mentioning as well. But I'll pass it back to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, CJ, my favorite Justin Sun moment was when he won that lunch with Warren Buffett. He paid like, a ridiculous amount to go to lunch with Warren Buffett, and his goal was to try and convince him that, crypto is the future. I'm like, wow, that is maybe not a waste of money, but just a futile effort right there. And but that was, like CJ said, he was a tremendous marketer. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see his next steps with the Grenada government. A few more pieces of news I want to hit here. On the back of that one, I thought was pretty interesting. This tweet from Coinbase here announcing that AVAX is now available to German residents, and also Rari, Track, and VGX are now available to Singapore residents as well. All available through Coinbase, obviously, but that is opening up to a new audience. There is a strong demand for crypto in Germany. We've seen that over the last 6 months. So perhaps that could provide some positive price action for AVAX. And then obviously, many of our community members hold VGX, and Singapore has, historically been a massive crypto market. So opening these three assets up to an entirely new market that is very receptive of crypto, I think is some positive news. Just a few other quick news pieces I want to hit. There are a few assets that are showing resilience. One that I thought was pretty interesting was Yearn Finance yesterday, showing some nice strength amidst market weakness. That was because they did a buyback. They purchased back 0.77% of the total supply. And yeah, obviously that had a positive impact on price here. If we pull up the Yearn Finance chart, had a very positive 48 hours. And that's what tends to happen when you have those supply dynamics entering into the market. But really, I think their marketing team needs to kind of reevaluate their strategy here. I don't know what the heck this is, but I don't know about that. Questionable choice.
Well, they're shopping, and they've got a bunch of that, they've got those two ferries and a shopping cart full of stuff.
Despite that odd advertising, like I said, over the last 48 hours, it's been very resilient despite this market sell-off. So interesting stuff there from Yearn Finance, from AVAX, and from VGX as well.
Well, if I could, guys, let me show you. I'm going to do a screen share of two things that I think our audience will find interesting. So let's see, which one do I want? I want this one. So it's gonna.
While you're pulling that up, John, I just, this made me think of you the other day when I was scrolling through Twitter, and unfortunately, our legendary hamster, Mr. Gox, passed away.
Oh yeah.
So he will not be forgotten. I assure you that.
It was such a joke, and come on. I get it. It was kind of funny, but I thought it was kind of dumb too. Okay, let me see. Am I getting the?
Oh yeah, you were good. You had the screen shared.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up our fear and greed index. Just one sec here. Share screen. Share screen. There we go. So are you guys seeing that fear and greed index up there now then?
Yep.
So down to a 23. They kind of, because cryptos are unique, they, instead of publishing a high volatility like we do, when the fear is very much taken over the market, they show low numbers. So in other words, it's more or less an inverted bull, if you will. So out of 100, a reading of 23 is pretty darn low. As you see, last month it was a 52, which is flat neutral. But ever since we broke down from those November levels, in the 60s, we've been seeing numbers coming down into the 30s and now into the low 20s for the fear and greed index. And this one is one of those reasons why I think this is total liquidations across crypto and so forth. And as you can see, this one right here, by the way, that's that December 4th wallop that the market took, where you see we went from the day before 2 billion in longs and 500 million in shorts to the very next day after the big drop, 170 million in longs. The longs are in the green, and the shorts were about 140 million. So obviously, that's one of the biggest moves we've seen. And you guys can go to this. It's on coinglass.com, as you see on the screen, on the bar up there, liquidation data, and you can go look at it and set the time frame to anything you want. But number one, when you have that much all bulled up on December 4th or on December 3rd, and December 4th happens, that was that whoosh we all felt. And right now it's not nearly as strong, but we don't have nearly the number of longs in the market that we had on December 3rd. In fact, let's see, as of yesterday, we were at 200 million, 1/10 of the amount of bullish bets on the table. And look at the shorts, only 30,000 or 30 million rather. So just pointing that one out. I think you guys can use that in your trading sometime. Not you guys, but hopefully the folks that are watching us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that fear and greed index has been, basically the best indicator of when to buy and when to sell, because this market is kind of very euphoric and, very, in tap to emotion. So, yeah, I think that's a great chart to keep in mind there with the fear and greed, also the liquidation data. I definitely want to do a deeper dive into that tonight on the cocktail hour. So, as always, we'll be doing the cocktail hour tonight at 4 p.m. Central. We'll have all the other Market Rebellion analysts on as well. So it should be an interesting one given, the price action we're seeing here in the market. But CJ, any parting words here before we wrap it up?
No, just want to say thank you to Voyager for being the sponsor of this show. Don't forget, if you're looking for a new brokerage where you can earn up to 12% interest on assets like Polkadot and USDC, you can go over to Voyager. They are coming to Europe soon. So it'll be interesting. I know we talked about how German residents now have access to VGX, but collectively Europe should in the next few months as well too. But nonetheless, if you want to sign up there, you can use the promo code REBEL25 and get $25 free in Bitcoin. And if you'd like to hear more in-depth analysis, Monty and I's trading positions and how we're approaching this market, you can go to the link below at marketrebellion.com/try-crypto. We're about to do a member-only analysis right after that. So if you'd like access to that, you can try the first week for just $7, along with a trading education curriculum and a very large community of active traders who really add a lot of value to the service. So we're always grateful for that. But thank you guys all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day in the world, wherever you are. And I know the markets are choppy. Let's hang in there.
Yep. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you guys on Monday.